It's rather dull today. You cannot really see much in the distance. You can kind of tell there's some snow left on the mountains. This is winter mode. The only colour that's left over is grey and green and muddy brown and the blue sky. And at the very least there's that. There's something in our way. I think I'm just about small enough to duck. Here's contender number 2. Another tree has fallen over. Might have happened during the storm that we had 1 or 2 weeks ago. And this one might be a bit harder to climb under. This one is a lot bigger. It was absolutely fine. And there's yet another tree. There's quite a few trees that have fallen over, it seems. It's the quiet forest hour. Sunset, bird is flying across. And the star is guiding the way. Where does it lead? Actually, it's probably roughly where the direction where our house is. It's a very nice morning, so we're out on a walk. Pretty much all the leaves have gone by this point. There's a horde of wild jay somewhere in this wood. I made a little reef from a branch that I found on the ground. I can't actually see any of the highlands in the west. It's all covered up. It's really beautiful though. This is the path that's coming from Skun, which is over there. And we are in Dukney Wood. So this path connects to a path that we usually do. And these beautiful old beeches are growing here. They're very big. This is called the Coronation Road. And this is to do with the Scottish kings, because Skun used to be a capital of Scotland. But it's more referring to Skun Palace and Old Skun. Looks like a nice seat if you put a pillow down. You can probably rest in your tree throne. There's a lot of birch forest in this area. It's all covered in moss, so it looks very spooky. And I like that as well. This year's Christmas decoration is going to be simple. I'm just going to make a tree out of wire and then put the string lights around and just hope for the best. And this is my wire tree. We'll see how it looks with the lights on. Well, this is it. It's different, that's for sure. And what happens if I press the button? This is almost like modern art. It looks like a Christmas tree in theory, but it's, what would you call it, deconstructed? I don't know. Although I kind of like how it looks with the little bird there. Makes it look a bit like berries. Berries that glow in the dark. It's certainly a very interesting potential piece of art that I made. Christmas stuff. Number 2 are DIY Christmas presents. Starting with some Christmas cards. This year I'm doing dogs with Santa hats. This is probably my favorite. And this is acrylic ink. And then these are actually old boxes which had Turkish Delight in them. And I've basically upcycled them into storage boxes. So we've got the lemons. This is probably my favorite. We've got a sakura blossom, a green one. And then lavender and the yellow one. And I still need to put some varnish over these to preserve the paint. And then they'll be finished and ready to pack.
Right, I see.
Yeah. Seem to be closed for winter. These colors are mind-bending. Very hard to translate onto a camera. But let me assure you that everything looks very beautiful. This place is called Fungarth Forest. And these are all oak trees. So it's a whole big grove of oak trees. Look at the color of this moss. Such a beautiful vibrant green. I cannot get enough of blue and green, to be honest. That shade of blue right there. That is stunning. I quite like my walls to be this color. Such a joy to go on a walk on a sunny day when the sun is low like this. The sun has gone down a lot and the colours have changed a little bit. That house by the loch looks very interesting. Looks like a nice place to live. Much more subdued, the palette of shades. The moon has come out. This is really beautiful. And the shade of purple. See that cloud there? Doesn't it look like a dolphin coming out of a wave in the ocean? It's a very different look from before, but I also like it. Very gentle colours. Here's a bit of an update on my art wall. I've not been able to sell this painting, so I decided just to put it on my own wall because I really like it. And the painting that I said stole my heart, I actually bought it. It was £60. So I thought, why not pay an artist, you know? Such a lovely face. But now my wall of art is pretty much full. I don't think there's any more space for anything. Oh, and this painting, by the way, I plucked it off the street because somebody was throwing it out. And I think it's still in a good shape. And I like this artist as well, Alphonse Mucha. How do you pronounce it? Yes, it's one of those days. So we are anticipating a lot of trees being on the path, such as this one. But it's not too difficult to get around it. And as you can see, there's an abundance of trees on the path. But isn't it also fun just to find a way through the maze? So there's definitely a lot more trees down than what I remember from last time. So I don't think we ever witnessed the storm that must have gone around here. Although there was already a whole lot of trees down at the beginning of the month. And we are back from a holiday, a pretty intense week, where we took my mother to Argyll for about 4 days, and then we also spent a bit of time in Strathclyde, partly by choice, partly by necessity. And the holiday vlogs are going to be up after this monthly vlog, because I haven't yet had the time to start editing. But I'm quite looking forward to it, and I want to create some music as well, so we have a decent amount of stuff. We have hill forts and burial cairns and castles as well, so I hope you're looking forward to that. Needless to say, we're not gonna get a view today from the top of Canoe Hill, but I quite enjoy this kind of atmosphere. Foggy forest. I feel like the fog also amplifies the kinds of sounds that you get, and you maybe hear them a bit more intensely because the moisture in the air carries the sound. There you go, a view of the beautiful River Tay. Isn't it magnificent? It's not particularly cold either, and I've seen a lot of places are having snow at the moment. I don't know if snow is in the cards for us. It's usually quite mild here, and you only get snow further up north or on the mountaintops. So perhaps we'll get to walk around in the snow if we decide to go up a mountain. So you can't even see the cliffs. You can hear the cars, but you can't see them. Total whiteout. This looks quite beautiful. I like when the beaches are shooting straight up into the sky. I quite like the atmosphere in this part of the forest. Another thought that I had, that since it is the end of the year, I wanted to maybe give a very short summary of how my year has been, and maybe stuff that I learned. Oh, there's a mushroom. Getting distracted. No, it's not a mushroom, it's a splintered wood. So, for one, the nature of work. I have been working as a visitor assistant for the past 5 years, and during the last 2 years, that was pretty reduced. So I've been working very little, and I've been focusing a lot more time on developing my channel and putting up content and doing the traveling and stuff. And I do have my photography on Society6, but it's not really a source of income for me. So I think that my main priority is to find a way to work from home instead, because as an introvert I don't actually get that much from working in a customer facing role, because I'd rather spend quality time one-on-one with a person at a time. So I think I'm the kind of person that is in my job to spend time with my colleagues and have conversations rather than to serve people directly. I'd rather, I guess, I try to contribute in a different way. So I want to explore different possibilities of making items, so basically crafting things, and then we'll see where I go from there. But I'm also pretty excited for next year and having more channel content and doing more traveling, especially visiting more hill forts. Some hill forts were on my list for this year, but we didn't get to see them. So mainly Aberdeenshire. There's a lot of places we didn't go to. We were planning a whole road trip to Aberdeenshire that never happened. So I wish us luck that we're going to get to visit the places next year that we want to go to. And I also want to do more talking topics. I want to do another video about some of my favourite things. And I want to talk about some personal life experience as well. I just have to find the time, stop my procrastinating, and sit down and write scripts and stuff like that. But I think I've enjoyed my holiday. I am quite delighted that I have had many new people come to my channel, and I hope that there's something here for you, and I hope that you will enjoy my content in the future. I will try to go and see some interesting things that I personally find interesting, because we do tend to frequent a lot of the same places and they are insanely beautiful. But I also feel like maybe you can only show the same place so many times. So hopefully there will be a lot more exploration next year. Learning to do better video editing, writing and recording more music. So I want to record music from a holiday vlog because it had a very special atmosphere. And I'm pretty looking forward to doing all of these things, and I hope so are you. We also have another Historic Scotland membership, so please, Historic Scotland, if you can, open more properties, because a lot of properties were actually closed this year. So we did try to visit ones that were near us, and we did go to one property during a holiday. So I'm also looking forward to visiting castles. I'm looking forward to flying my drone more and learning more tricks and just capturing beautiful imagery and capturing the beautiful landscape of Scotland and capturing nature sounds, and also visiting interesting historic places and sharing some of Scottish history. Yeah, you could say I'm pretty excited for the future. How do you feel about the future? Do you feel pretty hopeful? Do you feel a bit uncertain? Of course, it is pretty uncertain as well, but I generally take the mindset of trying to deal with challenges as they come and not worry too much about it. Kind of try to be prepared but not be overly anxious. That's sort of my mindset. But let me know your thoughts and let me know how your year has been. Perth is looking rather charming today. Just for reference, Perth is right behind us, covered by the fog. Because I'm not such a city person, I prefer cities that are covered in fog. Kinda makes them nicer. By the way, my mother was totally fascinated by this particular lichen that grows on the trees. And I guess this is just a particular thing you get in very wet countries. So you get this in Scotland, but she lives in Germany and you don't really get this kind of thing there. The activity of the day is building a shelf, because we have all these LPs and boxes of books. So I'm building a shelf. I actually quite enjoy building shelves. I enjoy assembling IKEA stuff as well. So this is fun. Well, that's the start, but my ears are ringing because I have to hammer this into these keyholes and it makes my ears ring because it's so hard. But this looks pretty promising. Number 2. So I'm making very good progress, although as per usual, some of the parts don't fit 100%. As you can see, it doesn't quite go as far as it's supposed to because the parts are ever so slightly uneven, but what can I do? So then the last shelf is going to go in once I've fitted the boxes there, and then I'll decide just how much space I need at the top or the bottom. Well, that's me finished, but it looks really full now. I feel like there should be some kind of door in front of it to make it look less cluttered, but it's better to have it all accessible than to have it just on top of one another. And these are all over LPs, which can be accessed much more easily now. This is 1 PM by the way, pretty low sun. Here we are again at one of our favourite lochs. The boxes that I showed you, when we moved into our current flat, that was in 2016, we expected to live there for about a year before moving on. And so we had all these storage boxes with all of our stuff. We have a whole storage box full of books because the books don't fit into the bookshelf. And so we lived like this for over 5 years because we're always looking for a place to move to, and it hasn't happened so far. So now, after all these years, I'm trying to put a bit more order into things. So rather than having the boxes piled up on top of one another, I bought a shelf and I put the boxes into a shelf. And it might be a case of irony that we're going to end up moving pretty soon, but you never know. I guess you have to live the life that you want to live now and not have the excuse of waiting for your circumstances to change before you create a situation in which you're comfortable with. But there's also something about having your environment be how you need it to be in order to facilitate what you want. So before, we had a sofa and a living room table, and I kind of got really sick of that sofa, and I don't feel like it was helping me to be productive either. So now I have pretty much an office setup. I have a desk and I have a chair to rest in if I want to step away from my office. And I already feel the difference that it makes. And these are all changes that I'm only doing this year, and I've spent so many years just, I guess, kind of accepting the setup that was given to us. It's kind of funny what we can accept as being normal and just roll with it. It's a bit of a coincidence that the weather is really good again. Around about a month after we were here last time. Well, let me just sit down and get some quiet time. This tree was so colourful last time, and now it's almost completely naked. I can just about see the top of Benraki there, and it does have a little bit of snow on top. It's like some kind of storm. The mist is being blown about by the wind. It's the last day of December and it feels like April. I kind of feel sorry for the poor plants about to be very confused about whether it's spring yet or not, because clearly it's not. Well, that's a bit better. I've got a forest and a nice moody view. So this vlog and this year are coming to an end, and I just want to say thank you for watching, and I want to wish you a happy new year as well. I hope that you can set some goals and achieve them, and I'll try to do the same, and I hope that you will stick around for more of our adventures. Try not to fall into the muddy path. There's a joke I wanted to make for a while. My friend Amy on YouTube has a video series called The Good Path. Here in Scotland it's the wet path. Certain parts of the season, whichever path you go on, it's usually wet. So yes, once again, thank you for being here, thank you for watching. Hope to see you around and have a great day. This is what I mean by the wet path. So go to the left, go to the right, it's wet everywhere.